Hello, everybody. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak in the Bag show for Monday. You like this new delivery, Jim?
I do.
I was thinking, I was watching videos. We're making great videos here, but I'd like it to be just a tick more professional. What do you think about that?
Sure.
Sure. So I'm going to start announcing it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak in the Bag show for Monday, February 20th. That's not that good, right?
We slowly get worse and worse as the days go on.
As the week goes on. Yeah. And then Thursday afternoon comes and I'm like, hi, it's Thursday afternoon. I'm fried again, but I'm plowing through the college basketball season.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. No, I'm kidding around about being professional. One thing I hate more than anything in life is professional. People always use that as an excuse for because they don't have a real reason to diss you. So they're just like, you're just not professional.
My dad despises that
term,
broadcasting
right?
voice.
Yes.
You know that pro broadcasting voice. He despises it. There's a couple guys on Vancouver radio that he despises.
Really?
Just because of that fucking professional broadcasting voice.
See, I hate using that broadcasting voice in videos, but I'm just hanging out with another person in private. I like using it, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, no one's watching. And I'm like, that's because I have broadcasting school integrity, and I speak like that all the time. All right, Jimmy the Bag. We're in a pretty good mood here. We're joking around because last week had its ups and downs, but overall, both positive, Jimmy the Bag. Overall, both positive. Let me just check it out. Overall, I was 62 and 54, up 4.4 units. That doesn't include MMA, which is also a winner for me. You were 28 and 27 plus 2.2 units. Had a nice winning week in college basketball and NBA, but losing week in NHL because your big puck lines turned out negative last week. But still, nice job in college basketball. I'm telling you, Jim, long term, you have a very solid future, possibly very bright future in college basketball handicapping.
You know, it's been a tough battle this year, but hearing you say those things really gives me hope. And I love this card. I'm already maybe 25-30% away through it. So I'll have definitely hammered every single game with time and not rushing through it. And I love these cards when we can completely get to every single game, the ins and outs of it. So I'm excited about today.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so I'm scanning the comments here, and yeah, once again, MMA was a success with myself and Andreas Hale. The best bet of last week was the over 1.5 rounds minus 190 in the Rockhold fight. That was a big favorite line, but it cashed. And then, of course, Andreas Hale and I nailed Blades by decision. I also had that fight going the distance, so that was a winner for me. So we both had a small winning day. We did both take Rockhold, which was he's throwing up a record. Oh yeah, look at that. There's the MMA record. Not bad for my that's 2017 and 2018. And Rockhold took the loss. Romero caught him, but just like I said, I was like, if Romero catches him, it's going to probably happen a little bit later in the fight, and that is what happened. A little bit surprising that he got caught, and and then I took a shot with that Pedro fight to go over, which was a loser. But overall, success in MMA, and Jimmy the Bag and I both had success, and I even had a positive record in NBA. We both did have a negative record in the NHL. I think that was last week the first day back from. What happened last week? When was the All-Star break in the NHL?
I opened the Monday by getting destroyed. Destroyed. Right. So not that I caught up that much, but it was a tough week, and I think it's just going to get easier. A lot of our leans are right, and nice 3-game card. I've actually at this point, I've got plays on all 3 games right now. It was a tough week in NHL.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. So let's move on. Let's just jump right into it. I did put college basketball first. I don't know if you had a chance to look at these college basketball games, but I did, as is always the case on Mondays. And there's definitely some interesting stuff going on in college basketball today. Did you have a chance to look at this game, at this card, Jim?
I capped the Notre Dame, Carolina, TCU, West Virginia, and Baylor, Texas in entirety. And so there's 7 games left on the card that I will get it all day.
All right. So let's quickly talk about Notre Dame, UNC. Obviously, UNC is great, and Native Queen, Native Queen just comes in with a good info tidbit after good info tidbit, show in and show out. She tipped us off that UNC is a strong second half team, often a bad first half team against NC State. I had UNC big on the second half, and I had her recommendation strongly in my head. And they, of course, they're in a tough stretch of games right now, but they came back both against Duke and against North Carolina State. I had them in both of those spots. And here the line's gotten bet up. It opened at 9.5 up to 10.5. Notre Dame, of course, Farrell is back, and they're sort of getting a little bit of a momentum and mojo coming back. I definitely wouldn't want Notre Dame on the full game here, but I'm thinking taking Notre Dame first half, North Carolina second half. What do you think? I don't know.
Yeah, it's I like the line for Notre Dame personally, but then we can't let just the last two games give us a bias. Let's go to Tar Heels. This is the third regular season ACC game in 5 days. Very difficult. This is the first time they've been in that situation since 1980. They've won 3 straight, coming off 96-89 win at North Carolina State, where they shot a sizzling 78.1% from the field in the second half against State. Luke Maye put up 33, career high 33 in the win. And then Notre Dame ended that 7-game losing streak. Home victories over Boston College and Florida State. They clearly are much, much more comfortable at home. Matt Farrell being back for 3 games, put up a career-high 28 points over Florida State. Irish are still missing Bonzi and DJ Harvey. Without their leading scorer and rebounder, Farrell leads a guard attack, which is not the way you expect to see these Notre Dame games. Martinez Gebben has been very good. He will be the biggest guy on the floor. Will he be able to use his size and strength and beat up on this North Carolina front court that still gets rebound after rebound, even though they're undersized and leads the nation in rebounding? I like Notre Dame here, but I wanted to hear what everybody had to say. And, Andres Aaron Escobar says Farrell plays on Notre Dame.
I'm thinking I think we don't overthink this. There's already some comments coming in about some of these no-brainer NBA basketball plays. Native Queen's already saying Philly first quarters and auto bet on, and I'm thinking Notre Dame on the first half might be just an auto play here. Do you think that it's a situation where they might be able to hang tough within the first 8 minutes, but then after 20 minutes they're just going to get outclassed here, Jim? Are they that much worse?
I don't think North Carolina. I still don't believe they're that good of a team. They have veteran leadership. They can stop. They can carry momentum, and they can stop it from affecting them. They can get at. They're a veteran-led group, but I don't know. This is a tough spot. I do believe I'm going to take Notre Dame at some point. I'm watching the line.
All right. Well, I'm taking them right now on the first half. The line is +6 -105. Again, the line has gotten bet up. It scares me a little bit to take them on the full game just because North Carolina's class might show in the second half. But I'm going to take Notre Dame first half +6 -105. That's the current line at Intertops. Again, I haven't had a chance to look at any of the totals on these games, but I am going to throw that one on there. What do you think, Jim?
Let's see. Well, CRC says not enough defense for North Carolina to cover. Ulysses Hayes, who's been a monster in the NHL lately, says North Carolina full game. I think I need more time with this. CRC says I know 11 is too many points against Notre Dame, and that's what I'm leaning. Native Queen says I was leaning Notre Dame first half, but got to go back and look at it.
Okay, well, I've made my pick. Of course, we will have more time to look at this today, and we'll get some more information during the day, and we'll see what the line movements are, and let's move on. Okay, Jim?
Well, let's wait. Vitalis says not that great of a team. They just beat Duke and everybody else. Come on, Jimmy. What do you mean everybody else? Do you remember the 3-game losing streak that we just all watched them?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're good. I just feel like this spot is a little bit of a down spot for UNC, and I'm going to take them on the first half.
Duke is a questionable group on the road, anyways. So yeah, I don't agree with you, Vitalis. I don't think North Carolina is that great of a team. And when I see a team like Notre Dame getting double-digit points, I instantly think they have a chance to cover. Yeah,
Justin seriously saying UNC is not that good. And here we go. And okay, so can we move on?
Sure.
There's one game that I did bet on the overnight. The line is moving against me. I mean, in my favor, but bad for if I want to give it now. ETSU is my alma mater. Tough call in that game. Probably will be passing, says Joe D. I took NC Greensboro up -1.5, but I think it is going to be a close game. It's now headed up to 2.5 or 3, which is a little bit iffy. I might have to do a little bit of a weak move here and take the money line now that it's up to 2.5 or 3. I bet it at 1.5. Did you look at that game at all, Jim?
No, the East Tennessee State Greensboro game. I haven't. And one of my guys I cap with also lives. In the area where they play, and he's got a really good read on East Tennessee State, so I'll be sending him a message, see what he thinks of this game. These are two very good teams.
Yes, two awesome teams. It's now up to 2.5, and this is exactly the kind of game where the difference between getting 1.5 and 3 might be huge. You know what I mean? Easily, UNC Greensboro could win it by 1 or 2 or 3 or something like that. Let me just quickly see what the money line is here. The best money line would be at Bookmaker -145 and UWager -145. And you know what? I think I will grab that one now. It's a little bit of a weak move here. I would rather have 1.5 -110, but I will take NC Greensboro on the money line -145. That's the current line at at Bookmaker and UWager. And again, when you're taking money lines versus spreads, what you're basically looking at is volatility, right? If you expect high volatility, you take underdog lines. If you expect low volatility, you take favorite lines. And I'm expecting a game like this to be relatively close, probably a little bit lower volatility than normal. So I will grab the Bookmaker line right now. NC Greensboro money line minus 145. Jimmy the bag.
Native Queens is with you on the first half
On NC Greensboro.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then if she says that, I might throw on the first half as well right now. What are some other comments coming in while I search for the first half line?
Dark Kent likes the over in this game.
Okay.
Bobby the Mush likes Eastern Tennessee State +3 on a 16-game winning streak. He thinks that's a really nice spot.
No, I mean, they're great. The first half line opened at a half. Now it's up to 1. Now it's up to 1.5. So the first half line is really shooting up there as well. All right, let me check the...
Dirty Sanchez says... back to the Notre Dame, North Carolina game, says the over there is his lock of the day.
North Carolina game, yeah. I love the over in the Notre Dame Florida State game. That line. Florida State's a high-paced team. That was 148 odds. I didn't understand that one at all, and I pounded the hell out of the second half over on that one as well. If you notice that all my second half plays on these shows are cashing, Jimmy the bag. The Toledo game also cashed, and I don't know if you noticed this, but when we were doing shows with Gabe Morency, and I was like shouting out the second half plays to him, all those cashed as well.
Yeah,
when we were at the Jamaican restaurant.
It's your holistic approach.
Yes, exactly.
To NCAA
exactly.
gambling. I love
holistic approach to this shit. Let me see the first half. I'm checking the first half money lines here. Let me just see because I do kind of want to take NC Greensboro on the first half. So yeah, the first half money line is just minus 140. Heritage is the only place that has it right now. All right, I'll hold off on that one for now. I took them on the full game minus 145, and that's what I'll do just for now. Let's move on, Jimmy the bag. What else do we have going here? All right, TCU West Virginia. You looked at that. That I did not make a bet on. What's your take on that, if any?
Well, first off, I like offense in this game, and I was watching the total. I'd love to see what it is now. I was watching it move all morning. Clearly, it opened very high, but I didn't quite. 158.5 must be a mistake, isn't it?
What?
It says here on SBR that it opened at 158.5. It's
Which
not
one?
down to 153.
Which
TCU West Virginia.
TCU West Virginia. No, that could be. Let me see. A TCU West Virginia. No, actually, it opened at 159.
Wow.
That is incorrect then. 159. It opened at Pinnacle at 159, and it opened at Bookmaker at let's see. Bookmaker opened at Bookmaker it opened at 161.
So I think with this line movement all the way down, I think this is time to take it, to go against what everyone's doing. West Virginia's defense continues to look vulnerable. They're coming off an 88-85 loss to Oklahoma State. They were up 6 points with 3 minutes 14 left. They allowed 16 points over the last 2 minutes 50 seconds. They're now 74th ranked defense in the nation. They've lost 4 of 6, 6 of 9. They're going to come out fast, but so they're the press Virginia, right? So they're ranked 6th in the nation in forced turnovers, 10th in steals, but they repeatedly back off into a 1-3-1 zone when their defensive gambles lead to easy buckets and foul problems. They better be ready to defend the perimeter against a TCU team that shoots 41% from 3. The return of 6'8", 230-pound Issa Ahmad was supposed to be, this thing that pushed them over the top. They're 3-6 since he's returned. TCU's coming off a big 87-71 win at home over the Longhorns. They shot 54%, got 11 offensive boards, committed just 6 turnovers. This is a finely tuned offensive unit. They've won just 5 of their last 13, stopped a 2-game losing streak with that win. They have not beaten a ranked opponent on the road since 1997-98. Ken Palm ranks TCU as a 5th-ranked offense, 128th ranked defense. 3 weeks ago, TCU beat West Virginia for the first time in 12 tries, 82-73 at home. They held West Virginia to 33% from the field, 25.9% from 3, and West Virginia still put up 73 points. So Ulysses Hayes is on the under. All these guys have hammered the under so much that I really feel like the over is the play.
Really? Jim Contrarian. Is someone maybe out for TCU? Because there's also been a big line move in favor of West Virginia. When I capped this game, it was 6. It's now up to 7.5 or 8. That tells me someone might be out for TCU. That would explain both of the line moves.
This morning, there was nobody out, and I'm looking at it again right now.
I wouldn't be. Someone's out for TCU.
Yeah, Sean Olden is questionable.
Okay.
Guard, but I don't think. Let me go over his numbers. I don't.
Okay. Well, I will look at that, Jim.
Okay.
I'll check that as well. But what do you want to do on this one? You want to give a pick here?
Yes, I do. I am going to take the over.
Okay.
I am going to go against the line move. And
okay.
everybody.
I hope you cash. This one definitely makes me nervous, but I hope you cash, Jim. All right. West Virginia. Let's see. Over 150. Wow. It's added down. We can give you a bookmaker over 153.5 minus 110.
Yeah, I like this.
I don't know about this one, Jim.
I hear that.
I don't know about this one, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see where the line move is. Anything else you want to get to? There were a couple of other bets that I also made on the overnight. I did bet Siena at +8. That is now down to 7.5 market wide. I also bet Samford at +4.5. That is still at 4.5. And I also bet, Canisius at -7, and that's now down to 6. And someone else I saw in chat said that they thought that Fairfield would be a sneaky good play here as an underdog. I'm not, and I also bet that, I also bet Colgate at +7. At +11.5. It's now down to 9.5 or 9. I also did hit Texas a bit at -3, and that's down to 2 or 2.5. And those were the only plays that I made in college basketball, which is almost all the games. But so a couple of those bets went against me. A couple of those bets went in my favor. Not sure what I want to do here. What other games did you look at before? Did you look at Baylor, Texas, Jim?
I did.
You did? Okay, tell me about that.
Baylor won their third straight game, 80-64 at home over Kansas on Saturday night. I watched the entire game. I was very impressed. The winning streak comes on the heels of a 4-game losing streak. Manu Lecomte was the difference. He was excellent. 18 points, 6 assists. We're talking about how North Carolina has these veterans that can stop breakdowns. They know when to call timeouts. They know when to rush the pace. They know when to slow down the pace. Lecomte was a coach on the floor. They held Kansas to 39.7% from the field, 19.4% from three. I know Kansas isn't a great rebounding team, but they handled Azubuike very easily. They completely outplayed, especially in the second half. Baylor defeated Texas 69-60 at home on January 6th, holding Texas to just 20 points in the fourth quarter. Texas has lost 2 straight at home to Kansas State and 87-71 on the road to TCU on Saturday. Kerwin Roach and Matt Coleman continue to have a difficult time replacing Andrew Jones. Texas guard play is weak, but their front court is very strong. And I can understand why everybody would be on Baylor, and I'm going to try to hold off taking them just because I don't want what I just watched to completely give me a bias saying this Baylor is this great team, because we know Texas is good at home. And Baylor has not looked good on the road. So I'm going to wait, but I see already Baseball Bob says Baylor money line.
Everyone coming in with opinions here. Alex Rodriguez says Baylor sucks. Do they suck?
I don't think so. No. I like Achula. They have. We've seen Kentucky and these young teams get outsmarted on the basketball court by these veteran teams. And I see Baylor as a veteran team, and Lecomte was excellent. Mutt
Beast says Baylor wins. Baseball Bob says Baylor money line. Baseball Bob says Baylor is picking up steam. Jansen Bonzone says, I just hope it's not a letdown spot for Baylor tonight. If Jansen Bonzone says ride Baylor. Darryl Lyles like Eastern Tennessee State. Okay. What to do here? I was thinking that it might be, Texas is obviously a team that's going to be up and down, but I'm thinking that Shaka Smart will be able to rally the troops at least for this game. And look at this. Sherelle Porsche says, hit a nice 8-teamer yesterday, so I'm feeling ecstatic. Get the fuck out of here. An 8-teamer?
Jesus.
That is a little hard to believe, but I don't think Sherelle Porsche coming here and just lie like that. I think she really hit it, Jim.
I do too.
That is nice job. Nice job, Sherelle Porsche. Congratulations. Goddamn. All right. So, what do you want?
I'm not going to make any move on Baylor, Texas. I got all day. I've already done research on it. I've got all day to watch line movements, make a decision. I love where I'm at right now with this college basketball card.
Okay. Alex Rodriguez says Texas covers, and I understand a lot of people liking Baylor here, but I will take one shot. It's mostly a believer. I mean, Texas. Does Shaka Smart have something to work with? What's Texas' roster like to you, Jim?
It's their backcourt. Their backcourt gets outplayed. Yeah. But their 5 and 4 is very strong. They're strong at home. Even here, let's right away. Our man Reggie comes in and says Texas play tough at home, man, and they do. If I had a lean right now, I just think situationally, it feels like this is a good spot for Texas.
Look at this, the education of a handicapper. Jim is learning. All right, I'm going to take Texas -2, -115. I bet him at -3. I'm not too jazzed about this line movement here, but you think their backcourt's going to get outplayed here, or do you think they'll be able to hold their own?
Yes, I think Lecomte will outplay their guards. He's very good. Yeah. And he's smart. And he handles pace incredibly well. Yeah. And these guys are shooting terribly. I mean, Matt Coleman's shooting percentage. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. I believe his field goal percentage is 37%. I mean, they're
Texas, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, I'm taking Texas. -2, -115. That is an official play for me. I did bet it. I can certainly understand why people would like Baylor, and you might be right. I'm going to take Texas -2, -115. All right, that is current line at Bet Online. Shall we move on, Jimmy the Bag?
Yes.
All right, let's move on. Let me just quickly. So, are there any other college games you looked at, Jim?
No, those were the three I looked at. And but do you have any leans that I should keep in mind for the 6?
Well,
we
a game like this, a card like this, I assume you're going to get to every game, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, so I don't have to. I did hit Siena at +8. I know Siena has some injuries, and Iona is very up and down, right? Iona had one game where they were awesome, then they had a game the next game where they were terrible, got blown out, then they came back from that blowout, and they had a rebound game against St. Peter's, which was nice, and they've had some issues with they got a player named Deshawnee Much.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I love it.
Yeah. Did you know that name?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't
when
know.
you research it, you'll see it. Is this guy? His name is Deshawnee Much. That's his name, and he blew up at the coach, but it was one of those disciplinary problems where it's like they had to discipline him out of just because they had to, but it wasn't like a serious problem. It was because he didn't like to lose, they didn't like to lose, and they all started yelling at each other. You know what I'm saying? So I think he might, and he missed the St. Peter's game, but I think he might be back here. So I'm a little bit concerned because if Iona is passionate and gets together here, that's something I don't want to bet against. But they're giving a lot of points here. Siena's bad, but I don't think quite as bad as they had a couple bad blowout losses on the road, but now they're coming home. I did bet it at +8, and I kind of like them at 7.5 here, but I'm not sure if I want to give that as a pick here. And I did bet Canisius at -6. I'm sorry, I bet it at -7. It's now down to -6. Canisius, I think, is just much better than Fairfield, but we did have a commenter who said that they thought Fairfield was a sneaky good play here. So I will hold up on that one as well. Both these games, I want to see where the lines move and what, Jim, your opinions on. But those are two bets that I made. And I also did bet on Colgate at +11.5, now down to 9 or 9.5. I think I'm going to pass on that one, although, probably a good play at 9.5 as well. Not totally sure about that. And that's it for college basketball, Jim. Let's scan the comments and see if anyone else has any comments here. That
Native Queen comes right away, says Notre Dame, North Carolina over maybe first of the best bets on the board, first half and game.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to look at the let me see.
Big Homie says, sorry I'm late, but most teams who have a big game lose the next one. Baylor and TCU is in that situation. I understand that thought process. Kaisa Kyle has over in Fairfield Canisius.
Yeah, and Ulysses Hayes likes Fairfield. All right, I'm going to hold off on that one for now. Definitely the Desi Lathan says, Pete, you look different. You hit pussy last night? Really? Desi Lathan, that's an interesting comment there, Jimmy the Bag. That's an interesting comment there, Jimmy the Bag. All right, let's move on, Jimmy the Bag.
Sure.
For a game like that, normally we've already got people saying they like Fairfield, and the line movement went in Fairfield's direction. Yeah. That's got me scratching my head. I might be on the wrong side there. All right, that's it. So far, all Jimmy's given is West Virginia over 153.5. I have Texas -2, -115. Notre Dame first half +6, and NC Greensboro money line -145. A lot of people saying that they like ETSU, which is understandable. A lot of people saying that they like Baylor, which is understandable. But most of these games you're going to have at least a couple of strong opinions from educated handicappers liking both sides, right, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. A-Rod comes in and says Gators blew Baylor out. Baylor not good on the road. I think Baylor's in a very tough spot, but I'm not ready to jump on it yet.
All right, let's move on. Chef Big Hat says, Loshak, ready to move on? Jimmy, yep. Loshak, okay, I'm going to talk about college basketball for 10 more minutes. Very nice comment there. Chef Big Hat, you're absolutely right. Let's move on for real now. And we are moving on to, what are we moving on to? We're moving on to NHL. Let's move on to NHL. Let's throw the record up. NHL record is good. Positive double-digit units for both of us, Jimmy the Bag, although you were up at like 26 last week and now only up at about like 18 or 19 or something like that. I was up around 18 or 19. Now I'm down to about 11 or 12. But NHL goes today. Let's see. What do we have for NHL? Just 3 games. Toronto and Tampa Bay obviously is interesting. Tampa Bay has been playing as great as always. Toronto's starting to pick things up, right, Jimmy the Bag?
Yep.
I was thinking that maybe the over would be a play here. Chicago, Arizona, obviously an interesting game. What's up with Antti Ranta? Chicago is terrible. I was thinking maybe about a shot with the under on that one. And Florida, Edmonton, also an interesting game. And I was thinking about a shot with the over on that one. No money lines or puck lines. I was thinking over in Toronto, under in Arizona, over in Edmonton. What do you have to say about the 3-game card today?
Well, they're a very interesting card, and we got a bunch of guys on the chat. I'm looking forward to hear what they have to say about all these games. First off, we talked about where we thought the Leafs were going to go directionally, and I said I thought they were going to start winning, and I do believe that. And this is a big statement opportunity for them. This game means way more to Toronto than it does to Tampa. Let's look at just a quick comment before I break it down. G Money Top Shelf says, last 5 game stats for Tampa and Leafs are very similar. 4 wins each with 22 goals for, and Leafs 3 fewer goals against. Toronto got exposed playing top team Boston. I believe the same here, Tampa Bay. I like Toronto in this spot. Daryl Lyle says Tampa as well. Lightning are coming off a 4-3 at home win over the Kings. They were up 4-1 heading into the third when they were outshot 20-4 and had to hold on for the victory. Vasilevsky made 44 saves. We've seen Tampa do this quite a bit. When the game starts and no one knows who's going to take it, they dominate and then they kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit. They've looked bad in third periods over the last little bit. The Lightning beat the Leafs 2-0 at the ACC on January 2nd, only matchup of the year. Lightning are 19-9-2 on the road, 7-3-0 in their last 10. They're only missing Andre Palat from their lineup. The Leafs are rolling. They're coming off a 6-3 win at home over the Senators. Their 8th win in their last 10. They've won 3 straight, 7 of 8. And Mitch Marner is a difference maker. We knew that. We know that their first line is a nice first line, but when they can get Mitch Marner scoring, then their offense has a real ability. He had a career high 5 points. He's a guy who's streaky. When he's confident, he's going to go. Leafs are 17-8-2 at home, and they are a healthy squad. Ulysses Hayes, who's been very hot in hockey, and I've not done well when I'm on the other side of him, says Tampa Bay will roll tonight. Madu 1984 NBA says like Toronto a lot here. Melee Payless Way likes Toronto. Revenge spot at home. Everyone on Tampa. You know what? I really think this is an important spot here. SM says stop playing those minus 1.5 spreads for NHL, Jimmy. How many times the team you picked won but not by 2 goals? Well, look at my units.
Yeah,
SM.
His units are good. I can go back and see how he's actually done on his minus 1.5 lines. I mean, the one slight negative on that is that sometimes on the money lines you're getting a lower hold percentage from the books than you'll get on the. I mean, there's never reduced juice on puck lines. There can be reduced juice on money lines. So that's one reason to play money lines over minus 1.5 lines. But the 60-minute lines I think have worse juice than both of them usually. So worth hold percentage.
I've been around up 20 units for a long time, so I'm not going to change what I'm doing at SM. And I know that his SM Canadian guy out of Ottawa only wants the best from me, but I'm certainly not making any fucking changes. I like the Leafs here. I think this is a good spot for them.
People have been going back and forth. Some people liking. Here you go. Ulysses Hayes says, trust me, Tampa Bay money line. Daryl Lyle says, Toronto 7-1 last 8 games. Let me see. Freestyle Fakiri says, I took Toronto money line. Toronto's won 3 in a row. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Matt, 1984 NBA says, like Toronto a lot here. Seems like the only one who really loves Tampa Bay is Ulysses Hayes. A lot of other people liking it's all Daryl Lyles who's liking Tampa. Daryl Lyles loves Tampa. Da Bears says, great show. Thank you so much, Da Bears. Love that comment. Love comments like that. All right. And what do you think about the over? I'm thinking that it's one of those games where they probably both get to 3 and it goes over even at 6. I bet it at 6 minus 108. It's headed even higher than where I bet it. And I was thinking about the first period over. What do you think?
The last time these teams played, it was a very, very tight checking affair. Now, we know the Lightning are allowing over 30 shots every single game, over 40 often. They've allowed over 40 shots a few times in the last 8 or 9. So I don't have a ton of confidence on either side there because I expect Toronto to take this extremely important. This is a statement type of situation. If they're going to make a run through the Eastern Conference playoffs, they're going to have to go through Tampa Bay. You know what? I'm going to make one play here. I'm going to take Toronto Maple Leafs on the money line.
All right. The first period totals aren't even out yet. So Jim's going to take Toronto on the money line. Let me just find the money line for you quickly. Jimmy the Bag. Let me find the money line. Best line for you here. Toronto moving to the money line section. Okay, it is headed up a little bit. Money coming in on Toronto. It's now minus 113 at Bet Online and minus 120 at other places. So Jim's going to take Toronto money line minus 113. And I was thinking about the over. I did bet it at 6 minus 108. It's now up to 6 minus 115 at Pinnacle. I'll hold off on both of those for now. Thinking about the first period over. I'll see what that is when it comes out. Let's move on, Jim. Chicago, Arizona. I was thinking about the under. Someone else said that they liked the first period under in that one. I might take that one as well. What's your take on this one, Jim?
Well, Blackhawks are a bad hockey team. I think it's the first time we've actually all been in agreement about that in years and years and years. Blackhawks lost 5 straight, 9 of 11, last place in the Central, coming off a 3-0 loss in Minnesota, where they continue to put up a ton of shots and have nothing to show for it. Put up 44 shots in that loss. What has happened to Keith and Seabrook? They have 3 goals between them and anchor the league's 3rd worst power play. They've scored 2 goals or less in 10 of their last 13 games. 12-11-5 on the road, 2-6-2 in their last 10. They've beaten the Coyotes in both meetings this year. Arizona's coming off a 4-3 shootout loss to Philadelphia, 31st in scoring, 30th in defense, just 6-16-4 at home, 3-4-3 over the last 10. But they're on a second game of a stretch where they get to play 9 out of 10 at home. I believe that we'll find value during this 9 out of 10 game run. And this could easily be a spot. Paulo Marquez says, can Chicago still go to the playoffs, Jim, in your opinion? Absolutely not. And they're going to start trading players away. They're going to give up on the season very, very soon.
But they're not mathematically eliminated, so they'll keep trying for now, right, Jim?
Well, yeah, they're not going to. But as soon as the deadline comes, they're going to give players away. Some of the experiments they've made have been awful. Bringing players back have not worked. They're just they're an old, aging, tired hockey team on the way down. Daryl Lyle says Arizona's 9-2 in their last 11 against the spread. Lamar People says Blackhawks are low-hanging fruit. You know, I think that if I take the underdog in both these next 2 games, that at least one will hit. And you know, I think the spot is the Coyotes.
I was leaning under on this one. Why is the line headed up? I mean, do you trust Antti Raanta right now?
I don't right now. No, not after that car accident. For whatever reason, he just and he's been very emotional, talking about how they keep losing and losing, how it's hard on him and all that stuff. You know, yeah, it's a tough spot. Evan Ragsdale says, Jimmy, how is Spidey? Just quickly, we're doing a fundraising campaign for him, shooting a commercial in a couple weeks. I see Spidey every morning before I come into work. So.
Okay. Let's talk about Florida Edmonton. I'm happy to see that I bet the over at 5.5 minus 113 on this one. That is shot up. The best line right now would be 5.5 minus 125 for the Greek. Everyone else has 6 at plus money. So I bet it at 5.5 minus 113. I like the over on this one. Not sure if I want to give it at the current lines. What's your take on this one, Jim?
Well, you know, the Oilers are not a good hockey team. Another team that's about to give up. They're 16 points out of a playoff spot. And the Panthers still have some hope. You know, Panthers are 10-14-3 on the road, and they're 5-5-0 in their past 10. This is the first game of a 5-game road trip across Canada. Florida has had a 3-game winning streak snapped and a 3-1 loss at home to LA on Friday night. Luongo's injured, Reimer back, but will return at some point on the trip. They're going to hang with Harry Sateri, 9-11 save percentage, 2.92 goals against average. Panthers have lost to the Oilers 3 straight times, but the Panthers have a good feeling in their dressing room in comparison to this mess of an Oilers team. Coming off a 6-4 loss at San Jose, they erased a 3-0 deficit with 4 straight goals, still lost all 3 games of the California road trip. Oilers are 16 points out, as I said. Talbot's got a good career record against Florida. I don't really care about those types of things. Oilers are 12-13-2 at home, 5-4-1 over their last 10. Ulysses says, trust me on what? They will come around tonight.
Okay.
Ulysses.
I'm just looking at some comments here. Interesting. Mutt Beast says, I am homesick today. Love the Monday show. I get to watch it live for once. All right. Great. Mutt Beast. And thanks for letting I love how Mutt Beast lets us know what's happening in his life. I love that shit. He's like, I just got home shopping with my wife. Great. Thank you, Mutt Beast. I love it. Anyone else, I'd be like, you're annoying me. But Mutt Beast giving us updates on his life. I love it. I just love it. He's homesick today, and now he gets to watch it live for once. I'm very happy for you, Mutt Beast. Hope you get better. Hope you get better very soon, Mutt Beast. What else do you want, Jim?
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to Ulysses says Reimer can't handle the load tonight. As far as, is that a fact, Ulysses? Because I thought that Harry Sateri was going to be still in the lineup. Yeah, seriously says Reimer is not in net tonight, right? So I would need a little bit more clarity on that. I really think that I'm going to take the Dogs in both these games. But I'm going to just wait a second until I find out that I want Sateri to be up.
Okay.
To be in that.
I will take the over 5.5 in this one. I bet it. I got it at minus 113. The best line now is still at the Greek. Still the Greek has 5.5 minus 125. Everyone else now is up to 6 plus money. So I'll grab that one right now. The Greek Edmonton over 5.5 minus 125. And again, I hit that one at minus 113 on the overnight line. All right. Anything else you want to give, Jim?
Yes, I'm going to give both.
Okay.
I'm going to give the Coyotes and the Panthers.
Okay. Arizona best money line right now would be plus 113. That is the current line at Pinnacle. And the Panthers is best money line would be plus 125. That's the current line at the Greek. Plus 125 on the Panthers, plus 113 at Pinnacle on Arizona. All right. Now can we move on, Jim?
Yep.
All right. So once again, Jim is taking Toronto money line minus 113, Arizona money line plus 113, Florida money line plus 125, and I've given just one pick, the Edmonton game over 5.5 minus 125. All right. Now let's move on to NBA. I guess we can throw this record up. We'll throw it up, as always, because your record is nicely positive, Jim. I am clawing back, but ups and downs and ups and downs. I did come up positive 0.2 of a unit last week overall, which is nice. I had a couple of really nice reads on the Cavs games and then some other games that I shouldn't have taken and got a little unlucky on a few totals, but I'm clawing back trying to get positive in the NBA tonight. I guess let's start with, Philly has just been a no-brainer play first quarter, first halves, and Maeve Queen says not changing that approach one bit for tonight's card. What do you think? New Philadelphia, now they're a big favorite, though. New York is terrible. Maybe as a big favorite against terrible teams is when you want to not take Philly early because they're giving too many points.
Or maybe take Philly first half, Knicks full game.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'm going to do, especially after I watch Embiid go down with a knee injury, even if he's only out for 3 minutes and comes back and says he's fine, is I'm not going to make any Sixers bets until the late show. I need to know for sure that this guy's going to be in the lineup. But let's say if he is in the lineup, Sixers won 3 straight, 4-5 overall, 10 straight at Wells Fargo, coming off that 112-98 beating of the Clippers. Embiid went for 29 points, 16 boards. First Sixer player to record at least 24 points, 10 boards, 4 straight games since Charles Barkley. But he fell to the floor. He appeared to injure his right knee. You just can't be safe with fucking this guy. Sixers are expected to sign Marco Bellinelli. I like that spot. It's going to help them. Knicks are coming off a 121-113 loss at Indiana. 6 straight loss. They're 7-23 on the road. This looks like a team that is going to continue to struggle down the stretch. Hardaway and Cantor went for 17 each. Mudiay, 14 points, 10 boards, but I thought this was going to be Nicolina's team, so I have no idea why they would have made them trade for Mudiay unless they don't think Nicolina is the guy. So I'm going to make a play on the Sixers at the half, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait.
See, I was thinking whether you like one team to cover or not, and whether you like an over or under. I was thinking that just the Knicks team total under might be a good play. It just feels like, I know their last game they scored a lot, or maybe it was 2 games ago they had a high-scoring game, but just feels like offensively they're just sluggish right now, and taking them to not score 100 is probably a good bet. What do you think?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, it's 98.5 right now at plus money at Pinnacle. I'm going to check what it is at Heritage right now. Let me just probably it's going to be about 99.5, maybe 100, although I doubt that one. Let me just quickly check it. Checking the line for the Knicks. Yeah, it is 100. I got to take that one under 100, right?
I don't trust this Sixers defense.
No.
But I mean, yeah, if I had to make a play on whether I thought the Knicks would go over or under, I would go under. But yeah, and Chris Postel says 76ers game is a trap. Luchase Fox says 76ers first quarter easy. Yeah, it's Alex Rodriguez says take under in Philly, New York. Ulysses Hayes, I like Philly full game. Donald Trump says stay off that Philly game.
Coupbois 407 says no, Pete. That's interesting. A very specific. He doesn't like the Knicks team total under 100. Oh shit! And John Carey says, "Don't do it, Pete. Under no." Wow. Okay. Justin Searcy said, "Yeah. All right. Okay." Ulysses Hayes likes over 100. Wow.
Yeah.
Everyone's liking the team total over. Okay.
Yeah, and Triple Beam says, don't rule out Embiid as a scratch tonight. I completely agree. If anybody's making a Sixers play, I would wait. I'd wait to do it on the late show, even if maybe you get a worse number, but still you can feel safe. The last thing you want is to make a bet and then see that he's not in the lineup and just fucking hate yourself.
On the other hand, interesting stuff here. Dan Kelly, a guy we know who has a spreadsheet, so his opinion's backed up by research, intuition, and spreadsheet data, likes the Knicks first quarter plus 4.5, and also who was it? Justin Searcy also likes the Knicks team total under 98.5.
And Blake Kersey's on Knicks first quarter and first half. You got any play that's got Blake and Dan on it makes you really take a pause.
Desi Lathan says, not touching that fucking game. All right, let's move on. No pick for you on that one, right, Jim?
Not yet, no.
All right, other games that are interesting in the NBA. Let's see, what did I look at? Well, let's talk about the Orlando. I didn't have a chance to look at the two games that didn't have overnight lines. Orlando at Chicago. Orlando had a bad game in their last game, but obviously overall a team with some spirit, some fight to them. They've been cashing, and Chicago is the other way. They have been slumping, lost 7 out of their last 8 ATS. Clearly, since they traded Mirotic, they're just kind of in a downspin here. What do you think about Orlando plus the points in the under?
I like Orlando in this spot, but I really think they're going to move forward as Chris Dunn, wherever Chris Dunn takes them. I've been so impressed with Chris Dunn this year, and he's out of concussion protocol. But running the show is a difficult thing, and he's at 13.7 points, 6.4 assists, 4.6 boards. He's not going to produce those kind of numbers immediately.
Is he back?
Well, he's out of concussion protocol.
Oh, okay. But is he expected to play tonight?
He's questionable.
Ah, okay.
So Ulysses Hayes likes Chicago. Bulls have lost 8 of 9, coming off 101-90 loss at home to the Wizards. They failed to score for the final 4 minutes, 14 seconds, fourth quarter, missed their final 7 shots. They're playing without Zach LaVine, who hasn't been cleared to play in back-to-backs, but he scored 35 points a night earlier in a big 114-113 win over his last team, the Timberwolves. This will be their 3rd game in 4 nights. That's not easy in the NBA. Bulls are 12-15 at home. Magic coming off a 111-104 loss at home to the Bucks. Despite the loss, they've won 4 of 6. DJ Augustine has averaged 14.5 points, 7 assists in his last 2 games as a starting point guard. Clearly, Elfrid Payton is more skilled than Augustine, but maybe Payton is not a guy you want in the dressing room. Maybe Augustine is the kind of guy you want in the dressing room. They won 4 of 6 without Gordon and Vucevic. I'd like, if you're going to give me points against the Bulls, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. I was leaning under and Orlando here, so I will combine those. I will take the Bulls team total under as an official pick. It's right now 110, minus 110 at Pinnacle, so that's going to be an official pick for me. Bulls team total under 110, minus 110. They could eclipse that, but I think the percentage play probably is to bet that they don't. You want to make a play on this game, Jim?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Magic and the points.
Okay, Orlando. Actually, interesting. The line is, the line is headed up. Why would that be? I guess maybe because Dunn is expected to play.
That must be Dunn is playing.
Because it was 4 when I capped it last night. It's now up to 4.5 or 5, but we can give you 5 minus 110 if you want that one, Jim.
I do.
Orlando plus 5 minus 110, and I'm taking the team total under there for Chicago. I was also leaning to the under on the full game as well, which was 215. It's now still there, about 215, 214 and a half. What do you think about that, Jim? No opinion on the total?
It's tough. I'm confused by this Bull squad. I don't know when they're going to play tight defensively and when they are.
NBA Conference Premium, conference spelled wrong, but that's okay. That's no problem. NBA Conference Premium says Chicago wins easy, all in caps. Okay, interesting. Jeremy M says Bulls team total under. Yes, I just gave that one. I just gave that one as a pick. Excellent. Nice to see that. Let's see. Other comments here.
Donald Trump says, I know Orlando's missing a couple players, but against a team that basically screamed we are going to tank by trading Mirotic. I don't know why they got plus 4. You know what? I like the way.
Go ahead.
I like the way Hezonja is playing. I've been impressed with this Magic team without Gordon and Vucevic. And if Chris Dunn comes back, it's not easy to take that kind of time off. Trump says Dunn has been out of protocol since Thursday, Friday already, but hasn't played yet. Yes, he has been. That's why I think he's probably going to play because he's been out protocol for a while. Christian Rivas is on the under. Native Queen says yes. Agree bag. I like the way there's 2 different feelings in these dressing rooms, and the Magic have a little bit of hope after winning 4 of 6 without their best 2 players, and the Bulls have seen hope dwindling away. Except that huge Timberwolves win, no question, and they were playing the Wizards hard until that last 4-14. But I'm going to take the points. Okay.
It's just interesting comments here. Just Jansen Bonzone says Chicago tanking for first overall pick. Sherelle Porsche, who just hit an 18 parlay, says Chicago really sucks rocks. Let's see. What else do we got here? Bulls get Laurie back. Oh, Laurie is coming back.
Laurie Markkinen.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe that is the case. I thought... Let me just go.
Yeah, wait, I'm confused now. Adrian Adila says, I like the Bulls tonight. LaVine looks amazing.
He does. He looks well. I mean, obviously, when he was playing against his ex-team that gave up on him while he was hurt, he had a lot to play for. Will he have the same kind of emotion against the Magic? I mean, that's anybody's call. But
yes, Laurie M is back. Bart Nelson says Laurie M is back. Ulysses Hayes says Dunn will be rusty. Alex Rodriguez says Magic wants revenge. Bulls spanked them earlier.
That's what I thought. Markman was back last game, so of course he's back.
John Openiano says doubling down on Magic. Wow. Interesting stuff here. All right, I've given the Bulls team total under. Again, yes, they have some offensive firepower there, but I'm hoping that the game will be relatively modest scoring, and even if the Bulls do get a big win, it's like a 108-83 type of win. Paulie D likes the Magic. Okay, shall we move on, Jim?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I have given the Bulls officially on the team total under. Let's talk about New Orleans, Detroit, right? Detroit finally coming off a loss straight up with Griffin back, and New Orleans, I don't know. New Orleans has some life to them now or not?
Well, first off, Coop Boy says Zach LaVine is going to take today off and the rest of the week off.
Really?
That's the first I've heard of that. Is that true, Coop Boy? I mean, of course, I never done anything you say, but that's wild because that's the first I've heard of that. Okay, so let's get more information from Coop Boy there because that's a big game changer. And we're talking Pelicans. When I initially looked at this game, I thought, like Jansen Bonds says, Detroit will bounce back tonight. But I don't trust this team with such a weak 1-2-3. Pelicans are coming off a 138-128 double overtime victory over the Brooklyn Nets. They were leading by 20 at the half. Anthony Davis had 44 points, 17 boards, 6 steals, 3 blocks. Those are the type of games he's going to have to come up with if they want to win. Mirotic had his first good game in the Pelicans uniform, 21 points, 16 boards, 5 blocks. Pistons are coming off a 118-115 loss at Atlanta. They've now dropped 2 straight after a 5-game winning streak. Griffin is shooting poorly in a Pistons uniform over his last 5, 38% from the field, 26% from 3. The 1-2-3 I'm telling you of Ish, Bullock, and Stanley Johnson is just not good enough. They need Reggie Jackson back. Jameer Nelson and James Ennis made their debuts. Nelson went 6 points, 5 assists. Ennis had 14 points, 4 boards. The fact that they're going to be helpful just goes to show you how weak this Pistons 1-2-3 is. But NBA Conference Premium says Detroit play of the day. Justin Searcy says, man, Detroit offense is ass. Detroit is a tough team to believe in right now. Bart Nelson says New Orleans, Detroit over is the only play I'd make.
Everyone liking the over, and I'm concerned that Dan Kelly came in and said that he likes the over in the Orlando-Chicago game, which makes me nervous, taking the Bulls team total under. Wow, okay, yeah. And a lot of people liking the over in this one.
What is the line at? And
now Proud Confused Dada says over in Bulls game is locked and loaded, so he likes the over in general.
Wow.
These are not good signs.
Not
as far as the pick is that I gave is concerned. Let's see. John Openiano says Mirotic is finding his groove. Pelicans have a lot to play for.
They do. I mean, both teams do. In that regard. And Dan Kelly said first half over.
Yes, right. I know, but then someone else said full game over.
Yeah.
So Dan Kelly likes the first half over. Someone else full game over. And now Ulysses Hayes says I like the under in the Chicago game. All right, who the hell knows? Everyone is going on opposite sides here. Paulie D says give me the Pels. I was thinking the Pelicans might be a sneaky good play to get a win here.
Yeah, I'm going to spend more time on this game. I find it a very difficult game to figure out.
2.5 or 3. The line is headed down a little bit for the Pelicans. All right, let's move on. I guess that's then the Clippers in Brooklyn. That's another interesting one. The Nets are losing game in and game out. They did cover 2 out of the last 3 though, and the Clippers, of course, they lost their last game at Philly where they were on a back-to-back, but they were a little bit tired there. Before that, they were just rolling game in and game out. What do you think, Jim?
At first I was going to take the Nets. I just thought this was a nice spot because this is their 3rd game for the Clippers in 4 nights. And Matsu 1994 NBA says Dunn is out. Dunn is out. That's
but
good.
What about LaVine?
And Coop Boy hasn't come back. I guess he's looking into it more right now while we're asking him to. So I'm sure we'll get more information because that's the first I've heard that LaVine will be out. Nets have lost 5 straight, 9 of 10, coming off that 138-128 double overtime loss. They were down as much as 28. They're having terrible first quarters. Unbelievably bad first quarters. Atkinson's called them out for it. Expects them not to have another terrible first quarter. They've allowed an average of 111.9 points per game on 47.5% shooting from the field over the last 10. And we know why. No Hollis Jefferson. Hollis Jefferson strained right groin. He's important to their defense. In 5 of those games, they've faced deficits of 20 points or more. They continually get beaten up in the first quarter. They were down 34-22 after the first on Saturday. NBA Conference Premium coming in saying Clippers. A-Rod saying Nets and points. Chris LeVert is out with a sprained right knee. He should be back. Nets are 11-19 at home. Clippers are coming off that loss, as we talked about, to the Sixers. They shot 43.2% from the field, went 8 for 32 from 3. That's a tired team. Committed 16 turnovers. This will be their third road game in 4 nights. That is very hard. They've won 5 of 7, 17 of 25. Teodosic will play with a foot injury. And then Coop Boy comes in and says, my bad, Jimmy, I'm at work, sneaking on the phone. What I meant to say is that he's not consistent at all. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's just because, I feel you. This is a spot where I initially liked the Nets, and then I thought, man, the Clippers are just a much better basketball team. And then so do I say, because this is the third game in 4 nights, third road game in 4 nights, then do I when I added that in, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to make a play on this game at this point.
This game I was really thinking about a play with the under, but once again, a pretty strong market move to the over. It opened at 219.5. Now it's all the way up to 223.5 at Bookmaker, 223 at other places. I know the Clippers can be very high scoring, and so can the Nets, but the Nets can also clamp down on defense. And I was thinking, after giving up a lot of points, that the Nets would try to play a bit better defensive game here, and I was thinking that the under might be a play, but the market has certainly moved to the over strong.
You know what? I do not think this Nets team can play defense without Hollis Jefferson.
No,
I don't, and that's why you can see in their last 10 games they've allowed 111.9 points per game. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe in the last 5 games they've allowed more than that, like 112 something. They're just a team that likes to bomb threes. That's what they want. That's how they want to play, and that's what they expect. How they expect to beat you. I mean, they were down 28, but they were getting destroyed until Alan Crabb completely went off against this when they lost. Who are they playing? Who they just lost to the Pelicans. Crabb completely went off, and that's the only reason why they came back in. The Clippers are a better basketball team here, but if you bet every time a team's on their third road game in 4 nights, you're going to lose overall. Ulysses Hayes is on the over in the Clippers, and that line's just gone up, right?
What?
That line, the Clippers over?
It's headed up. But, I mean, the Nets have had some modest scoring games recently. I mean, they had a high-scoring game against Houston. That's understandable. Houston plays that kind of pace. They had a high-scoring game against Detroit, but that game went under here. And then they had a high-scoring game against New Orleans. But, they played Milwaukee and the Lakers at home, and they were modest scoring. They had a bunch of road games that were relatively modest scoring before that. So, I don't know.
I'm with you, and over the last month or so, when totals have moved 6 points in one direction, and I've taken the opposite side, I've had success doing it. This is another spot where, man, up to 223.5 from 218.5.
Yeah. I mean, the first 5 games without Hollis Jefferson, 4 of them went under, and then the last 3 have gone over. All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna take the under here. I'm gonna take the Nets under. Now that it's up to where it is right now, 223.5. That is the current line at Bookmaker. 223.5. I'm going to take the under as an official play. I'm going against the current line move, but who knows? Maybe we'll be sitting here at 6 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll see this line down to 217.5, and they'll be like, Loshak, nice job. You're a genius.
I think that's the play. I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm taking it. Under 223.5.
Jeremy M. says, let the market kick it and take the under.
Let the market do what it will.
I'm going to do the same thing.
Let the market do. Are you on it?
Yeah.
Okay, Nets under 223.5 minus 110. 223.5 minus 110. All right, and then the only other games did not have overnight lines: San Antonio, Utah, Phoenix, Golden State. I didn't have a chance to look at either of those. Do you have anything to say about either of those, Jim?
I do, and I'm going to take the Jazz.
Okay.
I like the line, and then the Spurs are decimated in injuries. Oh, Brian S. comes in and says under 7-0, last 7 for the Clippers.
Okay.
I think that this is a broken Spurs team with great coaching. So we've seen that can help. I mean, not help, but we can see that can work for a half as it did against the Warriors. But sooner or later, when your roster is just not as skilled as the other teams, you're going to lose. Jazz are on the second half of a back-to-back after beating the Blazers in Portland 115-96 last night for their 9th straight win. They're dominating around the basket. In their last 2 games, they've outscored their opponents 102-60 in the paint and have a 107-70 rebounding advantage. Who's going to stop that? A team without LaMarcus Aldridge? Impossible. Not impossible, sorry, but unlikely. Joe Ingles is averaging 23.5 points and hitting 63.5% from the field over those 2 games. Jazz are 16-9 at home. Spurs are coming off that 122-105 loss at Golden State Saturday night. Lost 3 of 4. Now Aldridge joins Kawhi Leonard and Rudy Gay on the sidelines. DeJounte Murray and Tony Parker have both been upgraded to questionable after missing the Warriors game. Spurs are 13-16 on the road. Lost both meetings to the Jazz this year. I like this spot. I'm going to take it.
Okay. Wow. Some interesting. Wow. Look at this. Sorry to go back to the other comments, other games, but Coupwa 407 says, I love the over in the Brooklyn game tonight. They're just going to shoot. Yes. Could see that.
I can see that too, but as we've seen, a tired Clippers team hits 36% from three.
Ulysses Hayes says that game is screaming over.
Well, that's why the line's moved the way it is. I'm fine. I like where we got it. Ulysses Hayes, on days when I'm against Ulysses Hayes on the whole card are not successful for me, so I do not feel good about this. But he says, I don't trust the Jazz winning streak. You know what? And Smooth says, Jimmy, you think Jazz not tired? It's not about whether the Jazz are tired. It's you take LaMarcus Aldridge and all these guys off of the Spurs team, and the Jazz have a great. They believe in themselves right now. I think this is a really nice spot. Yeah,
a very impressive team. They got a lot of young guys. Kind of like, who is that again? All right, that's 4.5 market wide, except the Greek still has 4, so we'll give you that one. Oh no, it's Intertops and UWager both have 4 minus 110. Minus 4 minus 110. Everyone else has 4.5. So that's Jim's line on Utah minus 4. Phoenix. We have to wrap the show up in a few minutes. Phoenix, Golden State. You have anything to say about that one, Jim?
Yes. Warriors coming off the win we just talked about against injury-plagued Spurs. Second straight win after losing 2 in a row. They're just 3-3 over their last 6. Warriors have won the last 11 meetings against the Suns, 21-7 at home. But the Suns are the interesting spot. When you're capping a game against the Warriors, it's most important to cap the other team, I feel. And it was Elfrid Payton's debut as a new point guard for the Suns. This is a guy who doesn't always care. And he went 19 points for 9 boards. He led the Suns to a season-high in field goal percentage of 54.8 and points in the paint with 66. He will continue to do that because he's got something to prove. For some reason, he was mailing it in Orlando, and I don't have an explanation for it. But I expect him to play very well at first with his new team. This guy, as I said, he picks and chooses when he gives maximum effort, but he's loaded with potential. Dragon Bender went for a career-high 23. TJ Warren went for 31. Josh Jackson had another great game with 20. All that offense, and Booker was out of the lineup, who is unlikely to go tonight. NBA Conference Premium says Golden State should be minus 30. I think that this Suns team can play with this Warriors team with all the good feelings that they're going to have. The Warriors are not going to try and overexert themselves. I mean, I can't trust the Suns, but they looked really good. They have excitement. Peyton's happy to be there. Dragon Bender starting like he always wanted to. Warren went for 31. Josh Jackson's having 20-point games over and over again. And Donald Trump says Golden State's going to take it slow tonight.
Look at this comment from John Carey. Is this possibly true? He says, at Pete, at Jim, I work for Yankees and Madison Square Garden. Whenever you guys are in town, let me know, and tickets will be on me. Appreciate all the info you guys bring. Is that true?
Jesus.
You think he's just blowing smoke up our ass? Or you think if we actually show up in New York, we'll have some tickets on him? Yankees and Madison Square Garden.
Hey, tell him to save one ticket to also Juanma.
Yes, and also Juanma, you'll probably be first in line. He'll probably be like, well, guys, I only have 2 tickets for the 3 of you, so Juanma gets one definitely, and Jimmy and Loshak, you guys have to decide which one of you is going to get the second ticket, because Juanma gets first dibs. Thank you very much, John. I just love positive comments like that. It just makes me feel so good.
That's wonderful, John. That's very, very kind words. Jeremy M. says, Loshak, do you have an opinion on the Jazz Spurs over?
No, I didn't have a chance to look at any of the games that didn't have overnight lines. Sorry about that.
And the line right now is at?
197.5, something like that. Let me see. Yeah, 197.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what – I've got to break down this game without Aldridge in it and then just look at the matchups a little more for the over-under. But I like the Jazz here. I love the way they're playing. I love Favors and Inglis. I like everything about how they're playing. So
yeah, that guy Inglis is ridiculous. Who is that guy?
He's an Aussie.
Where the hell did they come from?
An Aussie hitting threes, man.
Really?
Yeah, and
that guy has the life. In the NBA, hitting threes, then he goes back to Aussie in the offseason, bangs Australian broads on Australian Tinder, then comes back to the NBA, gets paid more, hits more threes. Unbelievable. What a life.
It would be nice, man.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a starting pitcher in baseball every 5 days before you just stretch.
Yeah, I guess.
B. Adabal says, I work at the Raptors facility. They're going to win against the spread until the All-Star break.
Really?
Nice. Yes. That's our second guy who works in that facility. B, you got to talk to our man Al Mack. You guys got to connect while you're working there. Native Queen says, strong lean, Phoenix first quarter, first half. You know, I agree. You have one team that cares so much much about this opportunity. Another team that's looking ahead to the All-Star break. I wonder if that's a great play. What do you think? That might be an absolute great play. Oh, and Justin Searcy talking about the over. He says, without Aldridge, Bertans plays and all he does is shoot threes. Ulysses Hayes says, don't know about tickets, but definitely drinks. Ulysses, are you in NYC as well?
Where the hell is he? Yeah, absolutely. And John Carey was also a guy who gave us who would hit us up in baseball season with on the scene flag and wind information, which was awesome. That was so cool. Even if it even if it was like the wind's blowing out like 8 miles per hour, so we're not going to really there's no huge edges to be had for that. It's just awesome to have that information anyway.
Oh, for sure.
Although sometimes there can be a very great off-season information. All right, so let's see. What else do you have, Jim?
I think this is a very. I don't think I'm going to make a move yet on the Suns spot, but I love where Native Queen's going there. I think that's exceptionally exciting.
She likes what, Suns first half, first quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's how Golden State's been all season long. They've just been a bad first half, first quarter team and then killing it in the third quarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Golden State, a lot of these sharp, informed commenters that we have here who have spreadsheets and have noticed these things have been saying Golden State is a great third quarter team and oftentimes bad in the first half and first quarter.
Wow.
Yeah, not bad, right? Not bad. We'll think about this. As of right now in the NBA, I've given just 2 plays. Nets under 223.5 minus 110, which I'm okay with. Chicago Bulls team total under 110 minus 110, which might be the wrong side. A lot of people that we respect said they like the first half over, the full game over in the Bulls game in general, and some people saying that the Bulls will roll. So, but I'm sticking with the team total under 110 minus 110, and then Jim has the Nets under 223.5, Orlando plus 5, Utah minus 4, and that's it in the NBA for Jim.
I think I'm going to go with Suns first half.
Really?
I like it a lot.
Okay, let's find that line. Suns first half spread. Hold on one second. Just give me a second here. I know we gotta wrap this up in a minute here, but let's just find the best line here for Jimmy the Bag on the Phoenix Suns first half, a play recommended by Native Queen. Let's see. Wow, 9.5. Okay.
Ooh,
so
I like that. Adiball saying take the whole game too. But,
Phoenix plus 9.5 minus 110. That's the current line. At Intertops, other places have 114, 115.
Ooh, I like that. I don't have enough opportunities to be with Native Queen, and I love it.
Very
nice.
nice.
It gives me a ton of confidence.
Very nice. Jim's has now added Phoenix plus 9.5 on the first half over Golden State. Very nice, Jimmy the Bag. I might go on that with you.
I like that.
You think that's a good play, huh?
I do, yeah.
You think that's a good play, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I do. I mean, it's always worrisome when you go against the Warriors. But,
yeah.
But if you're going to do it in the first half.
I did not have a chance to look at this game. Is it a down spot for Golden State in general?
Well, we think that before the All-Star break is always a down spot for this team.
Yeah. All right. That's it. We've covered all 3 of the major sports today. Should we wrap it up, Jimmy the Bag?
We should.
All right. Thanks to all the commenters once again. Let's go over all the picks. Jimmy the Bag in NBA. Nets under 223.5. Orlando plus 5. Utah minus 4. And Phoenix first half plus 9.5. In college basketball, just one play. West Virginia over 153.5. And in hockey, Florida money line plus 125. Toronto money line minus 113. And Arizona money line plus 113. And I am on in the NBA. Nets under 223.5. And the Chicago team total under 110. In NHL, just Edmonton over 5.5 minus 125. And in college basketball, Texas minus 2, Notre Dame first half plus 6, and NC Greensboro money line minus 145. Of course, Jimmy the Bag and I will be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time, where we'll review all the line movements that have occurred during the day on all of these sports, and we might add some picks, discuss the updated research that all the irregular commenters have for us, and that'll be it at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Thanks so much for tuning in once again.